Press, guests, and everyone viewing via the live stream. I am Joshua Sword, President of the West Virginia AFL-CIO, and it is my honor to officially welcome the over 10,000 members of Education West Virginia into the West Virginia AFL-CIO family. I don't have to tell you that West Virginia has a very, very rich and historic labor history. From the mine wars in the early 1900s, to the Matewan Massacre, to the Battle of Blair Mountain, to the first educator strike in 1990, to the lockout of the steelworkers at Ravenswood Aluminum later that same year, to the next rounds of educator strikes in 2018 and 2019 through today, West Virginia workers have always excelled by valuing and exercising their right to have a collective voice in the workplace. And I believe that the creation of Education West Virginia will go down in history as one of the most important and influential labor actions our state will ever see. I really do. To watch two organizations who were fiercely competitive for membership for close to 50 years put the past behind them and join together to further their common goals for educators, for children, for communities, for public education. To be here today, celebrating this historic accomplishment, proves yet again that in solidarity, anything can be achieved. Now, as AFL-CIO president here in West Virginia, I was involved in the merger discussions over the past few years, and at times, negotiations were quite difficult. In fact, there was uncertainty at times as to whether the outcome would be successful. Sometimes we had to walk away from the table to take a break and reset. But ultimately, Dale and Christy remembered the big picture, what it was all about, and got back to work on developing the vision for this new and great union. Now it's my honor to make an introduction. She's a 30-year teaching veteran from Randolph County. Ms. Christy Skidmore was elected president of AFT West Virginia in November of 2024. Currently serves as co-president of Education West Virginia. During her time in the classroom, she served as a building rep, secretary, vice president, and president of her local, as well as also serving on the executive board. Please welcome to the podium, Christy Skidmore.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. And thank you, Josh, not only for today's warm welcome into the AFL-CIO, but also the countless hours that you have devoted to bringing this group of education employees united together under the umbrella of the AFL-CIO. I must say that your comments about the labor movement really gave me chills, and I'm glad you included this in your opening. Thank you. Unprecedented attacks on public education and the education employees who serve our students call for bold, historic actions. In West Virginia, we are becoming pretty familiar with bold, historic actions. In 2018, West Virginia educators sparked the Red for Ed movement across our country to empower themselves and improve their profession. Now, the eyes are on West Virginia once again as we embark on this new path forward. Dale and I are excited to share that on September 1st, AFT West Virginia and WVEA officially became Education West Virginia. The decision to create a new merged organization wasn't something that we unilaterally decided to do or an action that happened quickly. This historic merger occurred after a vote by delegates of each organization at their respective assemblies on March 29th of this year, with an effective date of September 1st, 2025. This merger marks just the sixth statewide merger of AFT and NEA affiliates and is the first merger in a non-collective bargaining state in the entire country. This was a thoughtful, deliberative process that was almost 3 years in the making, seeking to build on strengths of the former organizations while also creating a stronger, more member-engaged union than ever before. By joining together, we will fight the challenges facing public education as one in our county schools, at the State Board of Education, and at the Capitol. Our next speaker is no stranger to taking on these challenges. He has served as a fierce advocate for teachers and service personnel for 17 years as a WVEA president, and I am proud and honored to serve alongside him in advocating for a brighter future for education in our state of West Virginia. Please join me in welcoming Education West Virginia Co-President Dale Lee to the podium.
Thank you, Christy. If I were smart, I would just say thank you for that introduction and sit down, but I'm not that smart. I want to thank you members of the media for coming today. Josh said that, this was a long process. There's some people that I would be remiss if I didn't thank right off in these remarks. And the first of those is the Executive Director of Education West Virginia, Kim Randolph, who was at the table from the very beginning and many times had to serve as peacemaker and advisor and comforter for me and others as we went through these tough times. But Kim and our staffs who have done a tremendous job over the last few months to get ready for this merger really deserve to be recognized. Christy also said that we'll be the 6th merged state. I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize the first merged state, Education Minnesota, because they have helped us along the way from the very beginning. They and their past president, Denise Speck, were always there for us for any suggestions that we needed, any ideas that we may not have thought of. And we, as we're called Education West Virginia, to honor them. And I wanted to thank Education Minnesota and Denise for all the work that you've done. Now, combining these strengths and resources will increase our ability to advocate for solutions to the many challenges that we face in education. These are some of the greatest obstacles that I've faced in my career, in my long history of advocating for education employees. As Christy said, I think that's a polite way of saying I'm old. That's all right. The shortage of education employees continues to be a problem in this state. We'll know in October with the second month report. Last year there were 1,500 positions without a certified teacher in them. We'll see where that goes this year. But it's not just in the classroom. It's on the buses. It's in the classroom aides, the cooks, the custodians. There's shortages everywhere. And it's no wonder there's shortages. There's shortages based on what we face as educators each and every day in the workplace and now in our pocketbooks. One of the most pressing issues in providing resources and support for vulnerable students. Children can't focus on learning if they come to school hungry, or stressed out, or traumatized by the situations they face at home. The behavioral disruptions and the violent outbursts from students are at an all-time high based on what we're hearing from our members. We get reports constantly from teachers and classroom aides that are being kicked, hit, and bitten by students. And the ages of these children having these outbursts are getting younger and younger. We're seeing it in preschool on. If we want to increase student achievement, we have to address the social, emotional, and mental health needs of our students. The student discipline bill passed by the legislature last spring was a start, but it is critical that our state provide the mental health services and the resources to the students that need it. Our state must make an investment and must make this a priority for the students that are in crisis and the rest of the students who lose valuable instruction time every time a disruption occurs in the classroom. And the employees deserve a safe working environment. And we must begin this at the earliest levels, at the elementary school level. If we wait until later, it's too late. We've lost these students. Another barrier in attracting and retaining certified educators is the need to improve pay and benefits. The number of education employees leaving the state or leaving the profession altogether is at an all-time level that I haven't seen in my career. If our elected officials value our children, then they must increase pay for the hardworking people who teach them, drive them to school, prepare their meals, and provide the framework of nurturing within our public schools. I was looking earlier, and our bordering states average anywhere from $2,800 to more than almost $29,000 more in pay than we do in West Virginia. And in addition to pay, there's no other issue that affects our pocketbooks more than our health insurance. One of the top priorities continues to be PEIA. Like pay, PEIA is driving valuable employees away from public schools and contributing to the teacher and other employee shortages. Tomorrow I will be attending the PEIA Finance Board meeting, and Christy and I will be at the legislature if and when the rumored special session on PEIA materializes. Now, there have been rumors on what could be proposed, but nothing concrete, and certainly nothing that we believe could be the solution needed to stabilize PEIA. We will need our members to become engaged more than ever before to help us persuade these lawmakers to come up with real solutions to this PEIA problem. Employees deserve affordable, quality health care, and their collective voices will play an important role in driving home that message to the legislature. Now, as Josh and Christy both mentioned, the process of getting to where we are today was not easy or quick. But the goal of creating one strong, unified voice for education employees and for the students of West Virginia was worth every bit of the struggle. Education West Virginia is excited as we begin a new chapter of elevating the teaching profession that will benefit the students and recapture the respect that education employees deserve. I thank you all for coming today, and we'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have for any of us. Any questions? You all want to make this easy? All right.
I saw in Kanawha County that some teachers were sharing that they were now making less than last year due to the PEIA increases and issues. Have you heard that statewide in other counties?
It will be, because if you remember, there was no salary increase this year. The only increase is for those teachers who got a small increase in step and experience. And the insurance went up by 14%. And then you add on those who are paying the increased spousal coverage, then they are making quite a bit less right now than they did last year. Yes.
I'm Aaron Parker, West Virginia Metro News. I'll stay with PEIA. I know there's been some rumors about what Governor Morrissey wants to put out there for PEIA before the, like you said, probable special session. What is the process for speaking with teachers now that you guys are one, and have there been conversations about these rumored changes to PEIA?
We're gonna be going around the state. As Dale said, he'll attend a meeting this week. I'll be out with members. We're gonna listen to our members and what they have to say about what they're experiencing with their pay and their benefits. And then we're gonna ask them also to share those stories and share those facts with their legislators.
Absolutely. We can't wait and just sit back. Our members have to notify their delegates and their senators now and talk to them about the impact that this is having and the possible impact that this proposed plan, if it goes through, will have on their pocketbooks. Yes?
Sierra Malone with Charleston Gazette Mail. I know in previous correspondence, we talked about the transition period that's to come, because this is a large merger, and I was wondering if you could clarify what those next steps look like.
Yes, we will serve, Christy and I will serve as co-presidents of Education West Virginia through the spring of 2027.
Now that the two organizations are one, what are your guys' thoughts on, can the voice be heard better by elected officials, lawmakers, now that you guys are one?
I would certainly hope so. As we said, you know, we have stronger resources now. We've combined our resources. We're gonna be able to get to our members quicker, faster. I would certainly hope so. Not to forget that we are under the umbrella of the AFL-CIO.
And there's strength in numbers. Yes.
I was kind of wondering, was there a tipping point that made these two organizations say, let's merge?
You want me to fill that? In 2018, when we sparked the Red for Ed movement, we saw that it was successful because we were speaking in one unified voice. That we weren't looking at AFT, WBEA, member, non-member, whatever. We stood up across the state as educators and confronted things that were happening. And that led us to thinking that with the continued urging of former AFL-CIO President Jim Bowen, who pressured me for years to say, it needs to be one organization, but that's Carter. And Jim and Josh then set up the first meeting with Kim and I and Fred Albert, who was then the president of AFT West Virginia, and discussions began with me. Yes,
No, no, lost the call.
you're good, as many as you want.
What can members expect in terms of dues with this new merger?
Well, our dues are based on formula, and the formula has been spelled out to each of the members. And it's based on, because we got a pay raise last year, then that dues effect the increase would go into effect this current dues year. So they'll see a small increase an increase in their dues, but they would have seen that through the formula anyway, but they're pretty comparable to what the organizations were. But they're doubling the resources.
Right.
I mean, they're getting benefits from both national organizations and everything else.
Yeah, I mean, members of Education West Virginia will enjoy benefits of NEA and AFT and AFL-CIO.
Sarah Davis, 13 News. I'm looking at these names over here that are on the sign. How is this transition going to be smooth for them who's already facing so many issues in their job every day?
Well, these were the people that met at our combined convention, our first convention in March of this past year. And these were the delegates to that convention. So we know the problems that are being faced. We know that collectively, just like on this board, then we have a stronger voice and we can speak out a little bit stronger than before.
On this session, it's closer than we really want it to be. Is there one bill or policy that's top of mind for you going into the 2026 session that you would like to advocate for?
We'll continue to, as Dale said earlier, we'll continue to advocate for mental health services for our children. You know, we were able to get the discipline bill came through last year. We'd like to see some piggyback bills on that to strengthen resources for our children and our families who are in need in the classrooms. And then, of course,
We have to have a long-term stabilization of PEI. We know that the cost continues to increase. And we also understand that we have to have some skin in the game, but all the skin can't be ours. It has to be everyone going to the table and coming up with a long-term stabilization for this plan.
and as you mentioned earlier, you know, pocketbooks are suffering. So we'll be looking at, you know, what we can do about make some inroads with pay increases as well.
See how good we're doing this tag team thing already? We've been pro-presidents for 2 days now. Piece of
Finishing
cake.
each other's sandwiches.
What did you say?
Like finishing each other's sandwiches like in prison.
Well, she kicks me when it's my time to speak, you all will see.
I like salmon, I like turkey, so, you know.
My ankle's gonna be very sore
put them in your eye.
Thank you. Can't get it out.
Sorry.
Any other questions?
One more about the PEIA and a potential special session. Obviously, the costs are so up. Obviously, it's your guys' job to lobby for the teachers and the educators. You don't have one specific answer on how it can be fixed. I don't think anybody does, but what are you guys going to be advocating for this September to change compared to maybe what Governor Morrissey rolled out a couple of weeks ago that could be put out in front of you?
One of the things that we will continue to advocate is to change the language from a specific 80-20 to the language that the task force recommended in 2019, that the state shall pay no less than 80% and the employees shall pay no less than 80% and the employees shall pay no more than 20%. We finished this year with a $300+ million surplus, and they tallied that. That would be a great opportunity to put some additional money into PEIA, but under the current 80-20 rule, and they put money in, and premiums would have to go up because of that. So that's why you need that language and the flexibility for that. That's one of the things that we were looking at.
Dale served on the PEIA task force. Remember that, the PEIA task force, so he has vast knowledge and experience in dealing with PEIA issues. I feel like for as long as I've been involved in the union, we've simply been saying, fund it, fund it.